When we talk about using AI tools in Adobe Photoshop, we also have to talk about neural filters. They are all based on machine learning and they're still in development, but some of them are already out and some of them are in beta version. But they can be really helpful in some cases. So I will give you a quick overview of the current state and the functionality. You can access them by clicking on Filter and go to Neural Filters. And then a filter gallery pops up. It's kind of similar to the filter gallery you already know. And there you have a list of all neural filters which are already available. We also have a wait list. This features right now 4 filters which are still in development and which will come out soon, I guess. And these list of filters can be downloaded. So maybe some of them are already downloaded on your Photoshop version, but on some filters is a small icon with a cloud or something. And then Photoshop needs to download some data to use that filter for the first time. So let's see what kind of things we can do. You see that we have different categories. First is portraits. So that's all about skin, or changing the face, changing makeup. Then we have the category creative. This is all about style of the image. It's about changing the mood, changing the light, and also changing the overall style, like making the picture look painted, for example. Then we have color. This is a little more subtle, so it's about changing the color of an image. Also using a reference image to do that. Then we have photography. We have 2 filters in here, super zoom and depth blur. This is right now, it's new and it works pretty good, I think. And the last part is restoration, which is also kind of useful, which I think these 2 are my most used filters, I would say. But it really depends on what you do in Photoshop. So let's have a quick overview and talk about every filter once to get a little idea of what they do. The first thing is pretty obvious. The filter is called skin smoothing, so it smooths the skin. In this case, it's not really necessary, I guess, but you may have pictures where you need to do that, and maybe you know that also retouching the skin, retouching the face can be pretty time consuming, and if you want a quick solution, it's definitely a good try to do that. I would say the result of this filter is good most of the times. Maybe it's a little bit too extreme, but you can change how it behaves when start to use that toggle here on blur and make it less hard. And also you can decrease or increase the smoothness. So maybe it looks better than in your case, but you can try that out here. It's pretty easy, I guess. And you always see a preview of the current result with the settings you have right here. And to switch between before and after, you can toggle this little icon here, show the original image, click on that, and you see the before, click again, and you see the preview. Okay, let's see the next filter. I turn that off now, and I go to Smart Portrait. Smart Portrait does something which does not work really well, I would say. So most of the times I used it, I had weird results. It's not in beta version anymore, which I do not really understand, to be honest. But it automatically detects your face, and if you have multiple faces, you can select the face manually then by clicking on the blue rectangle. And now you see different options here on the right side. We have featured, then we have expressions, global, and settings, and you can just play around here. Be happy is actually changing the whole mimic of the face. It's not only about the mouth, it's actually also, when you laugh, you're not only laughing with the mouth, you also laugh with the eyes and something. So it tries to solve that problem when you, for example, made a group picture or something, and some people do not look happy and the others do, then you want to retouch that. But this is actually pretty hard. So the idea of the filter is kind of nice, but the results, like I said, most of the times I thought they look really strange. But we can try again. When you start adjusting the settings here, you will notice that it takes a lot of time to process. Now it's done. You see my face is actually pretty destroyed. It does not look really natural. So yeah, I redo that. But we can also change some other things like hair thickness, eye direction. If somebody does not look directly into the camera, it could be useful. Now it looks that I do not really look into the camera. I look more to the right side of the image. And yeah, this could be helpful if you have someone who should look directly into the camera but doesn't. But you see that he always changes the whole look of the eyes. They always get darker. So yeah, sometimes the results are not really natural. You can also mess around with expressions here, but like I said, so you have to try it out. Maybe you have a picture where it works great, but all the time I tried it, when using it in my workflow, it has not really worked so well. This is a thing I have to be honest with you. It would be great. I think the idea of the filter is actually pretty good. And you see that it worked with machine learning, but I think it still has to learn a lot. Moving on to the next filter, it's called makeup transfer, and it makes it possible to transfer the makeup onto your image from a reference image. And this is pretty funny, and actually I think it works pretty good. So I was surprised when using this. You can select the face. If you have multiple faces, like I said, you can select it right here by clicking the blue rectangle, and then you can select a reference image of some portrait which shows makeup you want to transfer. So yeah, select an image from your computer, select Kate Moss 80s makeup, for example, or some different image, and like you see, it transfers the look and the style of makeup of that image. Now I change the image to have a look at the other filters, and I selected the landscape photography. And because Photoshop noticed that we do not have any faces in that image, you see that the portrait neural filters are grayed out. So that makes actually sense. Looking at the landscape mixer, you see here it's still in the beta version right now, and it gives us the possibility to change the overall look of the landscape, which could mean that we can change the season, for example. I have this image right here, and maybe I want to see how it looks in winter. And we can adjust that manually right here, or we can use a preset which gives us different kind of landscapes, which have different lighting, different seasons. I start by activating the filter and selecting preset to see if it works when I want to see that landscape in winter. Nothing happens right here, so maybe I click this one. Okay, processing on device. Wait a second. And here you see the landscape picture in wintertime. I'm not sure how natural it really looks. Maybe you have to decide for yourself. Maybe we can try something different out. Maybe something here with sunlight. Actually, he changes a lot of the environment here. He put trees on here, which I think is kind of weird. I'm not sure why he does that. But yeah, when using this filter, you see that it's the beta version, I guess. This is kind of nice, I would say. But it really changes the whole mood, and sometimes it does not really look really natural, but to get an idea, to visualize a concept, it could work. Moving on to the next one, it's called style transfer, and it gives us the opportunity to change the style of a picture. In this case, it's a photography, and we can make that look like a painting on canvas, for example. So I click that artist style preset, and it takes a while to process, and it gives me that oil painting look, which has that impressionistic style. But we can also customize the styles here, or give him a custom reference image, which could be also really helpful. The harmonization filter I would like to show you in a working example later on, but this is pretty helpful when making manipulations, when combining images. Maybe you change the background, for example, or you put in an object into an existing photography, and you always have the problem that things do not really fit together because they have different contrast or different white balance or something, and this harmonizes the object or the layers you took together. So it's actually pretty nice to have that option, but I show it later to you in action. The next filter is called color transfer. You can be really creative with that. I actually thought about a realistic use case. An idea I had is to change that image here into kind of an infrared film look. So I tried it out by activating the filter and see what presets we have here. Maybe this is not too bad because it's kind of on pink, but also the sky or the clouds are getting pink now, so this is not what I want. So I go to custom, select an image, and select an infrared photography I found in the internet. So I try if that works. Yeah, and actually it's not too bad. To get this effect in Lightroom or in Photoshop somewhere else could take a while to make it look good. So, and if it needs to be fast, I guess it could be a good solution to use that. And you can also, change these settings right here to make it a little bit less extreme, for example, or maybe change the hue a little bit if it's too pink and you want to make it more red. Maybe this is a little nicer and a little less saturated right here. Yeah, brightness a little down, for example. This looks not too bad, I think, but maybe you find another use case where this filter could be helpful. Next filter is called colorize, and like you can imagine, it colorizes black and white images. So if you restore old images, so it's nice to have that process automated and not selecting every color by hand. Next one is super zoom, which is also pretty cool because sometimes you work with low resolution images. Sometimes clients deliver really low resolution images, and maybe it has just like 500 pixels in width, and it should be used on a website, and you need the double resolution. Then you can use super zoom. It can compensate the loss of resolution. And to do that, you can just click the factor of zoom you want to have, maybe 2 or 3 times. And then he tries to process it and make the picture bigger for you without really losing a lot of quality. So you can also remove JPEG artifact with that. And one important thing when using the neural filters, for example, when you enhance the resolution of the image and you want to adjust the filter or any other filter, he always asks you what kind of output you want to have. You can select new document if you want Photoshop to open that image on a new document, or you can select new layer. In this case, when I update the resolution, I think new document is pretty helpful because I can save that as another file. But in some cases, new layer is also nice. But then, he crops the image because you have a certain image size selected. Talking about the last filters, we have depth blur, which works pretty nice, I think. And especially for pictures you took with your phone, this could be really helpful because sometimes they look a little less professional because phone cameras do not have a natural depth blur most of the time. To activate, just click the toggle here, like you know, and it starts processing, and it does his thing pretty good. You can adjust the focal distance, which I do not want because he made that pretty good on the person right here. And we can adjust the blur strength because this looks not really natural. When I would shoot with a professional camera and professional lens, the background wouldn't be that blurry actually. Maybe it would be like this. Looks less than a smartphone picture because it looks like shot with a lens with a longer focal length. When you work with low resolution images, the next filter could be also really helpful. It removes JPEG artifacts, from low resolution images. And the last one is photo restoration, which helps you to restore old images, removes scratches, and we have a look at this later when I show you a working example of restore an old image.